growing up in any environment does not define a person. There's a saying that a lot of people say that um, Kumakuwa is the most richest place on earth because there's dreams that just die. For siyana Kristo yenyu amazivano whereby you just I have nothing wrong with these men of God, but the problem with Christians these days is they want to believe in the word they're taught at the pulpit. That's why this guy can just tell you, "Do you marry Anditi?" and you guys do. You need to question that. Go back in the word where.
Tsotsi, thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate your presence here.
Thanks for having me, Anne.
I'm happy that you graced our podcast by coming. And I always start with this question: what is your earliest childhood memory that you think has defined the person you are today?
I have plenty of those. I can't pick one. Childhood memories are always triggered by those nostalgias. If I hear a track, it takes me back exactly to that one moment in time. If I see something, it takes me back to that one moment in time. But I can't necessarily pick one thing that I say this, but I was raised in a village. I was raised surrounded with a lot of people, a lot of mentors, a lot of guidance from friends, family. So the culture that I was brought up around, that culture of Ubuntu, culture of oneness, whereby mwana mwana wemunhu wese, like you were raised by the whole village. So for me, I would say being a naughty child, every time I remember my childhood, I remember, oh, my nigga wakambondirowa paipaenda dai so. I remember, mfundisi ningirikini vakambondidai so pandakadai so. So I say the way that I was brought up, the setup that groomed me to be a person that I am today is the setup of Ubuntu oneness family whereby we say a child is raised by a village.
Well, so basically, you can say you was a naughty child.
I can't say I was a naughty child. There are two things that are all right. Okay, yes, I can say I was a naughty child, but if people don't understand you, they deem you being naughty or they perceive you being naughty. Maybe I was just a child that was never understood, according to me. So I can't say I was a naughty child. I was never understood.
All right. So growing up in Epworth, in a ghetto, what mindset did you develop from living in that environment that you think can help a ghetto youth in Epworth or in West ghettos?
Your question is a very good question. I will try and answer it fairly, but I would say growing up in any environment does not define a person. Growing up in any environment does not define what a person can become in life, does not define what a person is going to be in life. It just takes a person, the person, to want to be aspired, to want to achieve something better than what they have, to want to see beyond what they see, to want to see further down the horizon. So I say Epworth molded me to be a dreamer. There's a saying that that a lot of people say that Kumakuwa is the most richest place on earth because there's dreams that just die. For me, I take a ghetto as a place that always you being raised in a place like that is a place. It gives you an opportunity to be a dreamer because you're fascinated by small little things. Fascinated when we grew up, there were no color TVs. They were black and white TVs, so we only knew certain few families that had TVs. So patete todaona wrestling WWF would just know kuti tinonoiona kwamaini ngirikini ende tofana kunge takageza. So that alone, like when I grow up, I also want to have my own TV. So when you achieve, you buy a TV, you see like, no, there's
more.
There's something more. They're like, iwe, mine why you run a black and white, and green one a color TV. So growing up in a ghetto is a place whereby it allows your mind to be free and to aspire a lot of things. Yeah.
All right. So you was born in Zambia. How old were you when you relocated to Zimbabwe?
We relocated in Zimbabwe in 1998, 99, thereabouts.
How old were you?
So me and numbers are not good. I would do my math. Me and math were not good, but I think I was old enough, fairly grade 3, grade 4, thereabouts.
All right. What schools did you go to, and what kind of person were you back then?
The kind of a person that I was, those that were around me, they were the ones that know I can't blow my own whistle to say no, I was a very intelligent person. I wasn't. Someone can answer that question for me. But I went to a lot of schools. Like I told you, I was a misunderstood kid. Because for me, I'm a hands-on person. I'm a daring person. I want to try new things. If there is a law, I'll question you. Why? If you tell me don't do this, I'll question you. Why? So that alone, you're rebellious. So you're always in trouble. Even in school, I was brought up in a place whereby I know you have to respect your elders. There is hierarchy. You have to respect that hierarchy. Prefect, you have a certain way that you respect. Then I'll ask them, no, what's so special about this kid that I should do that to him? We're all paying school fees. We're all students here. We all learning in the same ground. You can't be treating me like, I am prefect. No, that doesn't give him right. So I was always a child who was always in trouble. So I went to Epworth Primary School. I went to Epworth Secondary School. I went to Zideco. I changed a lot of colleges for my high school because I was a problem child. But one thing that I can fairly say that I can blow my own whistle, I was never an average student. Those that went to school with me know I was never an average student. I was a student amongst the best students. I would be in the best class. To a extent, teachers would be asking, why is he in this class? I'm like, no, my grades. Why was I like that? My brother was an A student. My brother would pass with flying colors. So my dad would hit us at home or would just say, you know what? When I'm taking your presents, you will give credit where it's due. You are rewarded for good deeds. So I was forced to read at home because my brother will be reading. Because going to Chitamba whilst he's reading, I'll be in trouble. So trust me, for me to avoid being in trouble, I'll just read. So when I get in class, that's the only time that I get to be naughty and to play. But mind you, I know that I've already read. So when the exam comes, teachers would like, okay, fine, to Mira to Pacheta regroup this class. This playful kid bad influence. Guess what? I'll be way above the trimming marks. If they say we're going to groom and to trim anyone below 85, I'll be at 90. So that would always shock people. He's playful, he's naughty, but he's good grades.
Right. Let's talk about your passion for acting or for media as a whole. When did you discover that, no, I want to be in the media space?
I'm a good communicator. So growing up, like we are talking about, I'm a good communicator. I like attention. I like being around people. I like talking. For me, it doesn't take 10 minutes to just sit, fit in any environment that you put me. I can fit in, even from school, even from society, even from my friends. I love soccer, by the way. I'm a loyal Cape United fan. Even at the stadium, you just find me in the midst where you would not expect to find me. You find me making conversation. So just after high school, straight to college. Before we went to college. There's a denomination church that I was going to. I give credits to pastors of faith ministries. They groomed me to be a person that I am today. They had what we called mentorship programs whereby each congregation member should have a personal pastor, someone who mentors them to work with them, someone who grooms them. And also back then the church happened to start a program whereby it was sending um, the youths, those that they believed were meant for leadership callings, send them to Bible school, which was ex-Bible school. And I happened to be one of the first classes that, the first graduation classes that ex had. So that alone helped me in molding me to be a God-fearing person, grounded me in the Word. Whereby you just, I have nothing wrong with these men of God, but the problem with Christians these days is they want to believe in the word they're taught at the pulpit. That's why this guy can just tell you, "Do Mari anditi," and you guys do. You need to question that. Go back in the word. What is God saying? How does this relate to me? We all need that spiritual revelation, but you can only get that if you have that relationship and understanding of the
All right,
word.
let me push you back on that. What if you question what the man of God says, and they obviously they will threaten you with the mother of all sins that you will go to hell?
Okay, there's questioning without context. I'll give you an example, biblical example. The reason why Paul could not relate well with other 12 disciples was Paul would always question. Paul was a man of law. Paul understood the laws back then because he was the one using the law to crucify Christians. So you'd not tell Paul anything that had to do about the law. Then now he's now a Christian. He's now God filled. So everything that you say what God says, Paul would question, where is it written? If God can talk to you, he can talk to me as well. So to answer you, who's a man of God? We are all men of God. What just separates us is the gifts that we have, is the how can I put this? We're all gifted differently, and the offices that we carry different offices. So if you carry an office of a prophet, you're gifted that you can see in the spirit. That's the only difference that we have between you and me, but we are both vana va Mwari. Now, after that, there's a relationship with God. Do you have a relationship with this God? Or kunzi Mwari vanditi? Kana vakuti ndezvekwako, because I don't have this relationship with this Mwari warunditi vanditi. It's like a father giving an order kumwana asiri wake. Do you get what I'm trying, a picture that I'm trying to picture? So I have to first have a relationship with this my father, so that when someone is sent with a word that is supposed to be mine from my father, I can easily accept the word. Zvafana kuti muone panext door achiti baba vangu inini vati hanzi iwewe uzosakura, ndotaura kuti baba wako ndezvekumba kwenyu. Do you get it? So now we don't have Christians that have that depth and that knowledge of the word. So they believe everything this man of God says, because they are not in the liberty of questioning. There's nothing wrong with questioning. Questioning akusi rebellious. You want clarity. The Bible says, there's nothing that God does to you that he does not reveal to you. At the same time, the same Bible says, God, pane vanhu vari well ordained kupfuura iwewe, people that are spiritually gifted more than you. But when they bring in the word, it's now your duty and role kunzvera further to have what we call the discernment of spirit. God, if this is truly you, give me a sign. You are allowed to do that.
All right, I know you understand theology much better than me. I heard many people saying there are certain verses which miss in the Bible. What's your take on that?
I'm not here to discredit or to argue about theology or to argue about Bible. I'm not well educated to do that. But the little knowledge that I have about the Word of God, I use it to my advantage. How? To answer your question, I can't say yes, I can't say no. And I'm not here to debate whether there were verses in the Bible that were taken out or not. Because after I understood the Bible better, there are some arguments that are not necessary. we can argue all day. Then what would that bring to my life? What would that do to my spiritual life? So some arguments for me, I don't engage in them, not because I don't want to, because I feel like they're baseless. Okay, in every conversation that we sit and have, there should be something positive or negative that we want to achieve. So ask yourself, before we get into that conversation, what do we want to achieve? And why are we doing that?
All right. In an interview you did at Star FM with Ola, you mentioned that you enrolled at a certain film school because of your passion only. The principal of that college discovered that I know this kid is very passionate about that. Talk to us about that experience.
Okay, so the first certificate that I had in media was in radio broadcasting with FIBA, yeah, Faith in Broadcasting, whatever it was called, FIBA Broadcasting, Christian Broadcasting radio station with the Faith Nyarambis, the Madzongas. They trained me into radio. That's when I fell in love with media, because I wanted to communicate. I wanted where I would be given a platform to have a voice. I wanted whereby I could be the one. I'm artistic.
Yeah.
Like I love music. I love performing. I'm a performer, by the way. Used to dance, used to sing. I can do all that. I cannot brag that I'm a best singer, but I can tell you if I want to sing, I can sing. I cannot brag that I'm a best dancer, but hey, those that know me back in the days, early 2000, they'll tell you this guy used to dance like break dancing. Do you get what I'm saying? So from there, that's where my journey in the media started. But I then felt like radio was limited. I can't be doing 3 hours alone in a booth communicating to people that I can't see. I then switched to TV
All right.
from radio. Both it's mass communication, but I majored in radio. Then from there, I felt limited. That I'll be just sitting in the booth talking with the producer already produced script, just talking, taking in calls, engaging with people. I felt limited. I'm like, okay, let me try screen. Then I switched to TV with Gramofix. Then I started doing film and television production. That's how my journey started. But my journey in the media space started from radio.
Also, the reason for studying radio was because of your passion to communicate.
Yes. The reason why I started radio was because of my passion to communicate. Because I was a performer at church. I would sing, I would dance, would create concerts, etc. Then Pastor Nyarambe was like, no, you guys, you're really interested in doing this. There is a program that we can make you enroll, whereby of radio production. I'm like, I'm interested. I jumped in there, and radio was exciting back then. And I just sitting in the booth. So after doing radio for a long time, I felt like, nah, it's limiting me. Yeah.
But do you think radio is still we're doing well in this era?
It depends. What are you trying to refer to? But radio is a radio, same as TV. Okay, I can easily say mainstream media has stood the test of time. As much as say people are saying no, mainstream media is dying. There's social media competition. Mainstream media will always be there. Why do I say that? Whether we like it or not, as much as internet has taken over and the radio has gone digital, same as TV is going digital, our mainstream media will always survive. Even right now, for the past 20 years, people say no, print media is in trouble. But it's surviving because we are always going to still have those people that believe in that.
Excellent.
So as much as that minority group of people are there, we're always going to cater for them. You guys are too digital. You want the digital space. Radio has died. I can do my own radio at home, etc. But you still always want to listen to that. So whenever you're tired of all this fast movement, all this fast life that we're going to, when you want to come and sit down and just relax, what do? You
We'll listen to radio.
You don't go online. You just switch your data off and just sit and switch on your energy FH frequency.
Excellent. All right. In one of your interviews, you mentioned that your parents ignored your works at first when you started acting. Didn't that affect you?
Like any other parents, Mdana. No parent would want their child kutaita zvemagitari. until they see the benefits of what you're doing. Because every parent, every parent is protective to their children because they want the best. So what they deem the best according to them might not be the best according to you. But it's just that with memory in two different worlds whereby you are in the world of you need to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
They've already lived that life. I don't want you to be the fat. So challenging Ripo is about you understanding what you want to achieve and how you're going to get there so that they accept you. It's not only my parents. Trust me, I don't blame them. Every parent is like that.
There are a lot of parents.
Exactly.
On one of our episodes, I interviewed Sam Mataure, and he mentioned the same thing. His parents ignored his works. Tukendo magitare, vongonyarara as if nothing happened. And zvaati zvambomunetsa ke pekutanga, but ango zvasepta akati I'm going to do my thing. But as a child, how do you convince your parents that no, I want to do my guitar, I want to do media?
It's not your job to convince them. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know if my school of thought is a little bit vexed up. It's not my job to convince people to like me. It's not my job to convince people to follow what I do. I always say this to people. Let your results speak volumes. Talk less, act and act. Don't tell me what you can do. Show me what you can do. So I'm not in a job of convincing my parents. They've lived their life. These guys have been married, traveled to Zambia and South Africa. They stayed there, now they're in Zimbabwe. Why should I try and follow their miserable life? I also want to go to Asia, Malaysia, etc. So what do I do? And being respectfully follow whatever you want to do. To understand every car that's in motion, people always come on board. The reason why people don't come on board on your car because it's not in motion, you're telling them if I'm busy.
Oh, right.
Exactly. When there are results, when there are things that are tangible that they can see, when you can bring back chingwa kumba, when you can call your mom, mom, I'm taking you out for holiday in Bahamas. Unza passport yenyu ndoda kuti mavisa yenyu aitu. Avanokupa vakatokutaisa kuti okay, maybe akuita zveroba ruri Bahamas otozoona mwana. That's how people then come on board. People are sick and tired of being told what we can do. Let's not tell them. Let's just show them. Every parent will not agree to your dreams, especially when you want to follow what you're passionate about. Until you can have that grown-up conversation with them, whereby you tell them boldly, you know what? I appreciate you've sent me to college. I've graduated. This is my degree with the first class, but I want to do football. Vanotokutsamwira vanotombokudisowna kuti zvakapedza 4 years chibhadhara mari isusu unozomasemester. You get it. You get it. But if you do that respectfully, they will come on board. Don't be rebellious for no reason. And I don't urge you to be rebellious. I urge you to do the work and let your work speak volumes.
All right. In an interview you did with Ola again, you mentioned that also your mother would beat you, and the children of our nowadays lack discipline because they are not being disciplined. Do you still believe in corporal punishment?
Right. Bible, what does the Bible say?
Spoil the child.
Spare the robe and spoil the child.
Exactly.
The same people that make those laws, the same judges that will sit in a courtroom and make me look like I'm an evil parent and punish me ondiendesa kuchikurubi kujeri. Endamba kwavo unoona vantoziva kuti pamba pajaji ninge haupinde na 5 mwana wawo asananga amumba. Do you get what I'm saying? We are double standard people as a nation. I'm sorry to say this. We preach this in public, but we act different. The reason why we have a lot of substance abuse in our nation, it's not just because those drugs are easily accessible. It's the lack of that corporal punishment. It's the lack of people might okay. It's up for for debate. We can argue all day. People, some say no, hakuna mabasa, hakuna kuta say even patakangokura chinza hakuna mabasa. Do you get what I'm saying? Even when I grew up, I would not bring clothes that I did not buy kumba kwa mama wangu. My first phone, yandakatenga nemadhira, my best friend can testify to this thing. It took me closer to 2 months for my family to know that I have a phone, because I couldn't take it home. I couldn't tell them ndaita madhiri ndatenderedza mape madhiri watenderedza chii chawatenderedza tione chawatenderedza chacho ichocho. Do you get how strict they were? But do you know what that did? It conscientized me with everything that I would do. I should have an answer for it. Ndakona wanyepera totovavhara, but ndofana nge nditori ne answer for it. Your child is coming kumba ne-iPhone 15. Yes, yaakatenga ega. Let's assume yaakatenga ega. Phone closer to $1,000. Mutomutende phone yako yakanaka. When that child comes back with problems, don't come to me. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Kurova mwana pane kurova kuri abusive. Ndiana anodetermine kuti kwa abusive kwakusisiri. Bozi wakatona mwana panext door achirowa unototi baba vane utsinye. Until wakutanga kurowa wakonzi mai awo vane utsinye. I'm saying we've become hypocrites as a nation, whereby if you see someone doing something, you're quick to judge, you're quick to call them names, you're quick to want to sell yourself as righteous. And this, the reason why kids right now at school, they're doing my teachers are not told, the moment I raise my hand beating this kid, I'm going to hearing. My association will fire me. Where's money? These A schools work with my CCTV, my classroom. That's why you see teachers are not going to I will attend to those that want to be attended to. But still good, it's okay. I know I better go to the school fees as long in the. So is that what we want as a nation? It's just a row there. Kuchukoro nekumba. Nemu road. Every parent was like your parent. That's why I said earlier on when we were starting, I was raised in a community. To whereby ndaitoti ndikaoneka kuma shops ndichimwa freeze ndaitowanda kuti mai ningirino vasandione because vachanobvunza mai vangu kuti ndimampa mari yefreeze here atoma 1. I remember I was in grade 7 ndakaba $1 rezuva riya vandaenda naro pamusika kuchikoro vananotenga. The lady anaundidzosera change yakati unozodzoka uchitora change yako wapedza chikoro unorasa. Ndapedza chikoro, what did this lady do? Akatora $1 rere vamirira my brother kuti mapuwa mari makuseni mchiya kuchikoro imi munin'ina wako aya $1. Right now vangano vakazomusika kuti mwana anoya $10 pamusika ototenga zvinhu maputi $10 vanomupa otogara pasi havana basa nazvo. That's what that's how selfish we've become as a nation. As long as it's not your child, you don't care. Ndakaroheswa nekuti ndandatenga $1 mari yandansina kupuwa because watoona mari yakawanda for a kid to bring at school. Havazi mai vangu mukadzi wepamusika arada kutoti zvinhu zvake zvitengwe, but akati mari yakawanda. As a mother akato mai ava kana vabirwa $1 mari yakawanda imari yekutoti mhuri inotorarama. But how many right now are doing that? With an outcry, New Year 2024 into 2025, in 2023 into 2025, whereby vana vaibuda vakadhakwa vakaita viral pa TV. The problem is not vana vaibuda vakadhakwa. The problem is the person airekoda vakadhakwa. The problem is the person aivatengesera doro racho vakadhakwa. Totoraita vana vanotenga vakatuma munhu mukuru. The problem is the munhu aituma wacho, because we don't care as a nation anymore. As long as it's not my child.
But what should we do?
It's simple, mdara. Zvatofana kuita it's simple, mdara. You can't raise vana on social media. You can't raise vana on borrowing what mining is saying works. Every child, mdara, zvinotangira mudheni. Zvatangira mudheni zvokasikeda pauri kubuda panzi. Zvichikasikeda pauri kubuda panzi zvinondobasvika kuchikoro. Mdara nindai waisabuda mtown mune uniform 6 o'clock une uniform, school uniform town chikwira kombi naona roba mabasa iwe aikubvunza kuti iwe chikoro chekupi ichochi chinopedza na 6 Okay, toti mazuva kwana maeke, and there were a lot of colleges, some are doing extra lessons. Now my extra lessons was kind of 8. You put them down past 8 on a uniform. We just go to transport and get it. And your parents are okay with that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we are rotten from home. Zotozo cascade as a nation. We can't change what the whole Zimbabwe is doing, but we can change your home. Just put a curfew. Just start with your kids. If you start with your kids, I'll start with my kids, and he starts with their kids. Already you have served. Hey,
All right, let's move on. I think I was in primary school when we was watching Wenera, and I was talking to you about it before the set. They talk to us about I found the story behind the making of that project inspiring. Can you share some of the nuggets from that project?
that project was started in 18 Love. It took us over 2 years for us to be able to then got an deal to be on national TV. So this whole 2 years would meet and rehearse at an arts gallery, first floor art gallery along George Slindiga. That was our rehearsal space. So we became a family. The whole cast with over 15 to 20 people that would see every day for 2 years. So we became a family. But remember, like I said earlier on, my background was from radio, so I would only understand sound, but I loved being on screen. So I could not fit in. And remember, I was from the ghetto, and my English was not. I was not well outspoken like I have become. I'm a person whereby if I want to keep quiet, I can keep quiet all day, observe and learn. That's what I do. Most of the things that I do, I would love to call myself an autocrat. It's self-taught. If I see something that I like, I put my mind, I put my everything into it, and trust me, if you come tomorrow, I can do better. I can do it better than you can. I've taught graduates that have graduated with first class degrees at universities, a degree that I don't possess, that came through my hands. Because I would tell them what you're going to do to learn from school, it's theory. I'll give you the practical side of it. I've had students that will be sent to their lecturers to come and work under me to help them to help them get the grades or the standard they want for them to be kept. So that's why I can say I can boldly tell you that if I want to do something, I'll just put myself, my mind, and my concentration into it, and I can still do it. What people then started watching on TV on Wenera and received well. It took us over 2 years of rehearsal. Who can rehearse for 2 years? 2 years is not a joke.
It's not a
I
joke.
remember Nestor Namare Baz, there's Fatima always. I always tell Fatima this good. Fatima, in India, Fandri Rombe ndiwe problem because ndiwe can't introduce on kuma film. Because when independence Namare Baz, when I want to look for an excuse not to come, you say no, don't worry, come. Maria Kondogupa. Like, let's go. But then you feel like under the word I don't want to you should call it Zol Kupi. Are you coming? And guess what? I was not like the outspoken of the team. I was like the black sheep in the team. I was the guy who would be doing like all the dirty work after everyone else is rehearsed. I would be the one cleaning the space. Before everyone starts to rehearse, they want they walk in the gallery. They want to see chairs set. They don't even know who's doing that. I would have done that from my upbringing, from my leadership skills that I were taught in church, from my Bible school knowledge, from my mentorship groups. I was taught the best way to accumulate knowledge is to serve. That's why you see in my movies of my Roman ancient whatever, leaders would go forefront in the war. You can't lead a war sitting at home. You need to lead a war at the war front. So I didn't feel like I was for them. I was doing them a favor because I was the black sheep, but I wanted to learn. I wanted to tap in the knowledge this they had. I'm talking of a team that had back then the stars like Arnold Gara, Arnold Mazvaya Pisa, Ndomazwai Pisa Eben Groove. There was Denzel Burutsa back then. Studio 36 was those were the superstars, the Desante Follows, the Mias, the EDC. So it was a team full of people with something that I always have. It was a team whereby coming from the ghetto, just sitting in the same room with these guys, just sitting in the same room with this guy. It was okay. So let me paint a picture. So Dr. Growing up in a ghetto should always work as a motivator. This is me, a black sheep in this team of 20 or so people, stars, superstars, well polished people who know that what they're doing, and there's Zolile in there. When everyone else goes, Zolile cleans up the place, catches a combi, go back to Epworth. When I get back to Epworth, I'm now the superstar because I'm coming from the place where they were superstars. So this is another boys around get do dinda superstar. One of the irony of it. So I was a fish amongst sharks. But when the sharks go, I'm the bigger fish. So because of that now, so they are pushing me because I also want to have stories to come tell Tim my friends, I don't think you know the cartoonian Greedy Souls. The cartoonian Greedy Souls, there was an episode whereby this friend goes for an audition for a TV role. He gets a role. But the role that he gets a role as a tree. So TV, my mind TV. The episode comes. You get it? So that episode of Greedy Souls, they started referring it to me because I'll come back. No, my mind TV. So they started calling me Greedy Souls, especially Forbes. So my motivation was now to prove them wrong. Okay, I'm gonna make it. So I'll be the first one rehearsal, the last one out, the first one rehearsal. And I was annoying to a lot of guys because I was there's a fitter. You bored whereby you look around you guys, you're like 3-5 it's really but I'm also zing. I was that guy. So my director then Edin Lovewood, I needed to everything that needed to be done. I was the guy to do. But sound, I'll be the one, the sound.
We would like to talk about Edin Love, but before that, let me ask you this question. You would walk from Epworth to town by foot.
Padika pamdara taitopfurira kudai so unoenda kupoli kutodai so poli angandiudze pakufamba. So unangone option, unangone tuma option. Mari yaunayo 1 for now 50 cents kana $1. So you choose. Kuenda nekombi udzoka netsoka kana kuenda netsoka udzoka nekombi. So I'd just opt kudzoka because kudzoka nekwaneta and you're exhausted. Kuenda kuti nani ndomuka ndrefresh ndodai so pandosvika pa railways munika munorwizika railways meme utotesa chijira chako pukuta mwapwa kwakupinda CBD. No one will know twafamba netsoka. No one will know, trust me.
Yeah, it shows how determined you were.
No one will know.
All right. Let's talk about Edin Love. You may in an interview that you did with Ola, you mentioned that he says also Taurapogat also Vaitoshet also talk Zingase and it. But as why you wangorambori owed to your dreams, wangorambori uchingo ungoripo panchimbo yosiri. Of course, most of us sitting on not at it's through the wapanapa to it cascade move on.
I would answer it not trying to be naive at times. At times, there are times whereby it's good to let go. It's wise to just throw in the towel. But if you really want something, some things are worth waiting for. Why am I saying this? The generation that we're living in right now, where with people on a lot of unfinished projects, not because lack of resources, but just because of lack of commitment. With people who've graduated, but I don't know how to graduate, but they had an opportunity they could have graduated. They felt like I'm just doing a wrong program. Auto Siram road. Auto Tangaimo project, Auto see after 3 years. So I'm saying sometimes this generation that we're living in, it's carry, whereby why it's because we're living in a fast world now. So the 2 years that we rehearsed back then, right now, to tell someone to rehearse for 2 years, I know that one, I have better things that I can do with my
even
time.
3 months.
Do you get it? But I'm saying, what grounds someone, what makes someone that determined, is the vision and the picture of what you want to do. If you don't have a clear picture of what you want to achieve in life as a person, you're bound to be hoping from job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4. You're bound to be hoping from one home to another. You're bound to be hoping from one relationship to another, because you just don't know what you want as a person. So you need to sit down, ask yourself this question. I always ask people, have you ever asked yourself, why do they put magazines in a toilet? Whenever you go, you get to a hotel, there are magazines in a toilet. And tissues, okay, Africans, you think it's for tissues. No. Why? That's the only time that you get to relax and read, because you're considered that you're at peace. You know that no one is watching you. You know that you are alone. That's your alone time. In that alone time, you need to ask yourself questions that matter. What am I doing? Where am I going? Baba kana pane chinhu chisinganyepe inonzi conscience yako. Iwewe in life, if I want to ask you right now, pawakabaiza, answer yacho utori nayo, your conscience has already told you.
Exactly.
Did you get where I'm coming from? So everything else that you do wrong, you know where you're going wrong, why you're doing it. Pane kana zongoita kick in ka negative because kana zoti asina basa kuna kusiri kufa tongo tozongozona tasvika. But the answer you still have. So the biggest enemy of yourself, avazitete vako vanoroya vaya vakanoromba ndiwe. Do you get where I'm coming from? People then want to find a scapegoat. Why is zvinhu zvisiri kufamba in my life? Wakutsvaga tete vaya vakanoromba, wakutsvaga mbuya vaya vanoroya. But the biggest enemy is yourself. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I also believe about the spiritual. They're there, but they only constitute a certain fraction. The biggest prophet of your life is yourself, because most of the things that you're doing, you know what you're doing wrong and how you're doing it wrong. You can't expect to pass math if you've never studied math. You know you're bad at math, so why are you registering math? You know you're good at science, that's why you read Bichana, because your mind is telling you Ndoshirova. So everything that you want to do in life, you are where you are right now today because of yourself. Some Christians, they would want to crash. No, they're destiny helpers. No, God will intervene. God, destiny helper mukuru mupenyu wako is yourself. That's why the Bible says, what the mouth speaketh, so shall it be. You speak life into yourself. You speak success to yourself. The more you speak it, the more you believe it, the more it becomes. I was a small fish amongst sharks, but that small fish was a bigger fish. Kumatemba. It's the mentality of what do you want to achieve Iwewe as a person. You know your Goliath. You know what this is my stumbling block. You know what you're doing wrong and how you're doing it wrong. So the moment you work on yourself, self-develop yourself, correct those mistakes, inner mistakes. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. Inner mistakes, inner habits that you just say, you know what, this habit, and sending it. People will start seeing that you reciprocate. People will start seeing a different person. Even your attitude changes, even the way you walk. Now those people that can connect us to our destiny. But the chinotanga kuchinja is yourself. The Bible, okay, the world simply tells us you attract what you are. You are the type of friends that you play with. It's because those are autori. They are also attracted to kuauri. Saka utame munane muna akadhakwa yosina udhakwa. Autamene stupid uziri stupid.
All right, let's talk about the role of Tsotsi. It was created because of your looks. Did that affect you at that time?
There was no role that was created because of my looks. Which looks? I'm joking.
All
I'm
right.
joking. Okay, so the royal so Moenera Mamsina character on the a lot of people wonder about, huh? Yes, for 7 years, it was a character that was created because of how people would look at me and say, "This guy didn't get thought yet," because your eyes are always all over the place, and the way that you dress out, always I would dress in my one black leather jacket and a black T-shirt that I had, that became a trademark. I'm hardly on TV wearing any other color than black. Whenever I'm wearing 90% of my clothes are black, became a trademark. Why? Understanding where you're coming from, understanding namo yako. I can't be wearing white shirts and just that kumba kwedu safe inotenga ka one pamwe. So why should I have white clothes? You know what you mean? Black baba unoipfeka 2 months isinoiwacha. Aione ukona black yakupenyerera uzati right yakuda kuwacha. Do you get where I'm coming from? Yeah. So the role yangeria Daniel Kumalo and not a child. Angatinetsana na mai wake, then the stepfather. Because of my attitude towards my mother. But cast is Daniel Kumalo. So I'm never affected. So they're different people. So this is a character. So whatever people say about Tsotsi, whatever name, positive or negative, that does not affect me because it's a fictional character. But if they say that to Zolile now, I get offended because Zolile is a different guy than Tsotsi. Zolile just happens to possess the character. So to answer you, has been affected. Has been affected.
I mean, at that time, because I think it's traumatizing. For example, someone offers you a role, there is no role, and they created it because the
one chinhu working with okay, I'm sorry, white people. White people are there. They're blunt. It's either they like you or they don't. My boy to die. You also don't want a moon. I'm sorry to say this. I don't hate the women. I also don't want a moon. And then does that make that person worry?
No.
So whatever opinion you have about me does not make me that. So if I get offended, there's an element of a truth in it. Saka na ukanditi Tsotsi azvini affect because andisi Tsotsi asi ndikabatikana, there's an element of a truth in it. And I did not choose this face. Hapana pakamborongedzwa Mwari akati right wemutore maface no ndandoda iyi ndakangozvarwa ndinayo nangu chitonge Tsotsi it's okay. Ndo zvandakazvarwa ndakaita nangu chitonge hure it's okay. I did not choose this.
That's wisdom right there. And let's talk about, you dated your wife for 11 years.
Yes.
Talk how did you meet her and what was the secret?
If you've listened very much about most of the interviews that I do, there's a reason why I don't talk about my personal life. There's a reason why people should learn to separate my art and the person. They fell in love with my art. I'll give them my art all they want. Do you know why I do that? Imagine my daughter, my child. She just wants to be a normal child. She's a child. But the problem is not the child. The problem is I brought that attention to the child because I'm exposing her to the world that she doesn't even know, she doesn't even need. Adakundokresha vamwe anotakurira masanguage ndakana mari yekutakurisa sanguage. Autora maticha notora photo ye-lunch box kuti ona mwana watsotsi ari kuya ne2 mabands. So there's a reason why that should just stay with whoever it is.
Oh yeah, I get it. But the reason why I asked this question is because as of me, I hate so much divorces. And I thought maybe there is a secret behind that long period. So that's
the good. Recently I was reading like a week ago about how high divorce rates have grown in Zimbabwe, especially in Harare.
Exactly.
And you're 90-something% of it is in Harare.
Yeah, but those kind of divorces are the registered one, not
Kungoti
exactly.
tongorowana.
Yeah.
The reason why people are getting into that, our generation were being molded in a world whereby the social media has become our tete. Social media has become our to-go area whereby when I want information, when I want to ndinoenda social media. Marriage is a very sacred union made by God himself, and we have people get married for wrong reason, and marriage is very scary. Pakuti is the only, there's no school that teaches you to be a dad. There's no school that teaches you to be a better husband. There's no school that teaches you to be a better wife. Even Anatete, they don't teach you to be a better wife. They tell you not to teach you. Because you can't be taught to be a better wife with someone who's never stayed in a marriage. So the problem that we're now doing is, Kuti, we're sending these kids, we're sending ourselves into commitments that we're not ready for mentally. We are committing ourselves to an animal, to a beast that we don't even know about. So when this beast unleashes itself, I've already made a commitment. I'm quick to throw in the towel and said, and wese mai vacho unobva kutambira kuti uya mwanangu, uya unogara hapana chataisa kupa. But what you're failing to understand is you're creating a chain of broken homes. A child raised in a broken home will never settle in any home. Even if that child 50 years later gets married and starts their own home, when trouble comes, she'll only throw in the towel, he will only throw in the towel, saying, my parents did it alone, so can I. So it becomes a chain reaction. Let's go back down to early 90s. You'd never hear of divorce anywhere else. I've had an opportunity to sit down with a couple, the pastors and their mental health counselors, telling me, Guti, the wife was telling me, Guti, I've been married for 60 years, but I only started enjoying marriage after 40 years. I'm like, yeah, John, you heard me right. Ndatone vazukuru ndopa ndakazotanga kunyatsoona murume wandainamatira. Exactly murume wandainamatira. After 40 years. Who can stay that long in a marriage these days?
No.
And wait for this wife or wait for this man to be the man that you're praying for.
Yeah, these days they are saying marriage is not an achievement.
Then if it's not an achievement, why commit to it? If marriage is not an achievement, why are you going 2 extra miles to gather people or to do a biggest verdict if you know that in 2 years' time you're going to be divorced? We are doing it for wrong reason. Because most of my friends have been married. Social media yangu handisina zvekuposta. All my friends of college are graduated. So you're getting into a commitment with someone who doesn't know where you're coming from. In Zolile, I'm 100% committed. I really want someone to settle with. But you're doing it because most of your friends are married. Or une friend yako yaroda kuti hero uyoda kuratidza kuti ndakazororwa, or une ex wako waroda kubo. We're getting into it for wrong reason. Yes, people will say there are a whole lot of factors that contribute to divorces, economy, etc. No, we are getting into it for wrong reason. That's why right now they've passed a law whereby he or she who files for divorce pays $1,800 US, if I'm not mistaken. Saka iwe kana usina uchatongostikira imomo, you realize later after 2 years chibenzi chiright. After 5 years apana kuramba iwe, after 6 years you're like, but atomuna right. Matokura. We have a lot of broken homes right now because we have men who are weak upstairs. We have men who are so quick to throw in the towel. We have men who don't care anymore what happens tomorrow. But remember, I always tell people that, do you know, mwana, DNA mwana yakawanda ndeyangu. Zita rinodaidzwa nemwana nderangu. But that child is being raised by a different family. Varikura vachimuudza kuti chii about you. As much as you don't care. What would that do to the child's mental health whenever he sees a dad, whenever he hears their friends vachimhanyirana baba vavo? So it's no longer about me now. It's about that child. So if you're not ready to bring a child in the world, I want you to get this right. If you're not ready to bring a child in the world, don't.
Sure.
If you're not ready to commit, marriage is a lifetime commitment. Can I say lifetime? If God said you're going to live up till you're 60, you should be waking up which one at that same person for the next 60 years. If you're not ready for that commitment, don't. A lot of people don't need to just because I'm a little bit too harsh. Because women are the ones that forces men to marry. Because akuna mkomana right now anotobva college utograduate utoona basa rake kubva kuti mari yangu yekuroora ndoningirira. Never.
Yeah, sure.
Akuna will tell you this from a guy point of view. Until he finds a girl who wants to settle. Then we incite ideas of settling. That's why you see men are like kids. It's in our nature. As much as we want to settle at some point in time, when I want to settle, ndakura ndanyazona ndada kusettle ndara akuna chinhu chakachipa sekukecha. But you have to make that conscious decision. This is not a life that I want. So if this lady comes to me and say, no, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'm like, okay, why? I can have that without commitment. Don't want to catch her without commitment. But the fact that I want you to settle with you, I'm committed to this. Infidelity, itoripo my relationships, my marriages, I mean to say, I condone it. But I'm saying, what does the Bible say about divorce? It says you're only allowed mukadzi komurume kana kudivorce kana wabata your partner in act. It's in the Bible. So what it's simply trying to say, my chances are kumbata red-handed are lesser. In my school of knowledge, I'm thinking, but for the sake of the union, let's try and preserve this. This modern age in time, aitonzi angari wese kuti wakagara kudai nyama yedu angari mumubhaibheri kupfuura zvamuri kufunga kuti zviri wese. So there's nothing new under the sun. So my school of thinking thinks the reason why shinzi anokufana ngorambo kana wamubata ari in act, it means people are going to tell you what your husband is doing. People are going to tell you what your wife is doing. People are going to show you every day. But the decision is yours to make. Do you know kunema couples are happily married? Murume anotoziva kuti uyu mwana uyu has one, but anomuchengeta sewan. And they are happily married. Problem only comes when the whole village knows kuti uchengeta mwana asiri wako. Wakunyara kuti boys rangu bhawa rinozonondiseka, team rangu rinozona kuti chii kopa toenda kufamily meeting nechimodza ava ngavasateme hune vari kuchengetera mwana. You get it? So you're now doing things for people. But deep inside, you love your partner and you understand mistake with your partner. I got a mistake, but I love my partner. But now I just can't be with my partner because
since you said you don't want to talk much about your personal life, But this issue of fathers running away because of that their wives are not safe, are very well. Inondinates and also why are they doing so? I've read something it's in the public domain that you stayed with your wife when you were unwell during PTD for 3 months, and some fathers will be like, no, I'm throwing in the towel and I will look for someone else. Maybe you can share some knowledge on that.
Okay. As much as you say it is in a public domain, I would like also to conscientize people about post-traumatic depression. I'm not going to get much into detail because it's still medical, whereby the challenges with usually post-traumatic depression, by just watching this podcast, it can trigger her back into that.
Oh,
It's a memory that's stuck in there. So the moment something reminds them of that, it can trigger that back. That's why you see, Kuti, I hardly talk about that. Not because I don't want to. We're just waiting for the right time, whereby advised by doctors, I said to say, you know what, right now I think you can actually publicly talk about this. But when you make vows as a couple, you're not just making vows for people to record. You're not just making vows
to make people proud,
to make people happy. You mean them. For richer, for poor, in sickness and in health.
All right.
Till death do us part. Huh? So, when your partner gets sick, she's just sick. Why should I run away because she's sick?
All right. You mentioned about the vowels. I was talking with my boys about those things. So it's also, why is, maybe you can answer it because you are knowledgeable about those things. Why is it when giving vows, they tell you what to say?
Okay.
Because
they are what we call there's a term I know it that you recite. It's like oath that you read. I'm forgetting the term they use, but there are those that you then say. After that, you then say your own vow. So I have a national flag because it's a commitment that I'm vowing. It's like a commitment words that I'm saying to you. I will commit myself to you till death do us part. Then you then make your own vow. You're allowed to do that.
Because I was wondering, I'm the one who is going to commit. Why are you saying, repeat after me, in poverty, in what?
That's constitutional. Kuti tise pasi pamutemo tonyora tosaina pasi kuti I Zolile Makeleni have agreed kuti musi wakati wakati I've committed myself to be wedded lawfully, whatever. It's by law. But there are those vows that we make. You understand?
Yeah.
So the word vows itself, Ndara, it's a commitment.
All right.
If do you know the meaning of the word love? My boy atidinzwisise word iro isusu nene ndaisatorinzwisisa but ndakazotanga kurinzwisisa after some challenges in life. You don't love someone. I love you. I love you. You like someone. Then you grow to love them. That's why you're not Murungu Pano I love you, I'm not shame. What is it? You love me. You don't go to Canada, I love you. Suppose we don't know what that means. You don't love someone. When you love someone, you refer back to the Bible. You can die for them like what Jesus did. Like what God did. The only son that he had, he sacrificed them out of love for the human race. So when you love, you don't care as long as you're doing it for the person that you love. So you love someone. Pause. Do you actually really love them? Kuti nasi izvo muri kubva kuchikenini nebhebhi rako muri kubva kwamuri kubva movha waita accident wodamburwa makumbo iwewe anouya achikuona first 2-3 months handiti ngaramba achiuya achizokupusha muche iwe.
Yeah, that's wisdom right there. So you mentioned about white people, they understand love.
Dati, they understand the word love. That's why they just don't throw it anywhere. They just don't say I love you. No, I like you. Then they grow to love. It's just don't can't edu. Even they take time to say it. It's just we just say it. Mango right is it phone yako mangani I love you at least. Love, it's a very maybe ndini ishe. But love ukatanga kuiona from this spectrum yandukuona nano. Aungori tauri nda. Kuti you love someone. Kuti ndakagara panapa. Anditi ndova nangu nzonzi girlfriend yangu. Anditi acha side race kwasara iri. Angushandisa left side paralyzed. Chichaita kuti ndena unomuona, it's the doubt that I have kuti vanhu ndofunga vanongondinyebera. Akusi kuti ndinomuda. Ndosvika ipapo ndoona. What I'm going to do after that, now we are talking about true love. Every action that I'm going to take from there. And true love can be put to test. Scientists like testing things. True love can be put to test. There's this old man. Mwana wake was very rich. Mwana wake very rich. Adzoka kubva abroad. Abaita party musha wese. Vanhu vavajika. Vatodza vanhu ndiri kuchata. Ndaracho but muchato unenge uri strict by invitation. Ndaracho vazoti towards mazuva emuchato vatanga kunyora ma-invitation. Kushamwari dzake achiti Zolile azorwara. Mari yese yakafrizwa kubasa kwake. Zolile anzi anga atoba zvinhu. Saka achakwanisa kuti tiite sei. Tiite muchato but kuti tiregedze kuita takapuwa date kuno nana ambuya vedu. Titongokumbirwa kana $100 kuti tingoita muchato tichi mukomana abatsirikana adzoka. Pamuchato hanzi pakauya vanhu vanofunga pfuura kana 20. First akadhina kuti komudhara ndakakupa basa kuti invite people. So these people that showed up, they're your true friends. Because they did not care about the situation and avanyorera. They just wanted to be part of your journey. So after atsva kudaro musikana wangu uya ndichanomona hospital nchimbatengera mabhiri remember asati amukadzi wangu kama musikana wangu boys rakunotanga kubvunza ayo na mushonga utenga hausosuka mari urora ere uti unoti hayo ndatobuda 2000 ka anza yani basa rangu sina urora utango jambo wakumona after 2 years pesa zvatopera
wakuita marosa baba wacho
asi ukatozosvika pakuti ndikumurora akadaro womira naye pavu.
All right, our time is not on our side. All right, let's talk about, and firstly, congratulations on your podcast, Dine With Tsotsi. I really enjoyed your episode today. And talk to us, what's your vision with that project?
The project is all about domestic tourism. We're pushing food culture in Zimbabwe, travel culture in Zimbabwe. If you watch those few episodes that are there online, we just want it's a podcast about just me sitting, eating, and talking about nothing but food and travel culture in Zimbabwe. We want to conscientize people to love traveling. Do you know there are places that you don't know exist in Zimbabwe? Exactly. So we're encouraging people to travel, explore Zimbabwe, explore the food culture. And I love eating wangu. So whenever there's food, we can talk all day. So that's the reason. That's the main agenda of the podcast. The show Dine With Tsotsi. The show Dine With Tsotsi is just designed to celebrate Zimbabwean food culture and travel.
All right. You have partnered with a big brand on that. Now, talk to us. How did you manage to scoop that?
In showbiz, one thing that you need to be very much aware of is branding. If you want to grow, brand yourself clean. Corporates out there watch what we do as artists. They might not approach you, they might not call you, but they watch. One day they'll give you a code. You know what? We want to work with. Without you approaching them, no. So work on yourself, develop yourself, brand yourself, present yourself in a way that everyone would want to be part of you. Hakuna munhu anoda kuassociate nebrand rakasviba. Hakuna munhu anoda kuassociate nebrand full of controversy. Hakuna munhu anoda kuassociate nebrand rinotauridza everything chaposwa you have knowledge about. Everyone anoda kutaura you have knowledge about. No. Brand yourself in a way that you want people to see you. When people talk about Ishanesu, what comes first in their mind? What is Ushanesu? What does Ishanesu stand for? What does the brand Ishanesu carry? By so doing, you're positioning yourself in a place whereby you attract what you are. Like I said earlier on, you attract the right people to partner you. It's one thing to look for partners, and it's more sweeter for partners to look for you. That's why I'm not moved. I always tell the people that I work with, when the right time comes, God will always locate you, no matter how far you are. When your time is ripe, the juice will be ready to drink.
All right, so you have so much wisdom there. What do you do? Do you read? Do you watch documentaries? What do you do?
I told you earlier on, I'm an autocrat. I read, I watch stuff before I engage myself into something. Number one, there's someone who did it better than you. There's someone who's actually good. Learn from them. I don't compete, I compliment. I acknowledge, okay, every year, ever since we left Wenera 2017, 2018, thereabouts, I make it a point every year I produce a new show. Every year. So 2025, I'm working on a show. The show that I'm working on, there's someone already doing something similar to what I want to do. So what do I do? I learn from them. I research about it. I have a team of people who are knowledgeable. And in Angwar, I'm just surrounded in Angwar. So when you hear me talk about travel, you think that this guy is well-traveled. No, I've researched. There are people who are well-traveled who are telling me what to say. I'm just a face and the mouthpiece of the brand that I represent. We're talking about food. Could be my chef, my dishes, they become my friends. I ask them, how do you prepare? So that when I'm saying it, they think that I know the stuff. Research, self-develop yourself. I told you I grew up in a ghetto. I went to B school, even W schools. Never went to an A school. My first job interview for a radio gig before FIBA, I was told my English is too ghetto. Was radio station where this is to down or up class boss in the it got to me, but so what did I start doing? Started watching a lot of TV, started reading, started developing the way I speak. But it comes with the job. You can't be standing in front of people talking things that you don't know. Remember, everyone, there are doctors who are going to be watching this podcast. Then I'm talking about PTD that I don't even know the meaning of the word PTD. So when I'm saying things that make sense, the doctors should concur. Yeah, these are changes. You get it? So before you see something, say things that you're knowledgeable about. Stay in your lane. Things that you don't know. You lose nothing by saying I don't know. I can't be jack of all trades. I have things that I know and I have things that I don't know. And I have things that I stand guided. And things that I don't know, I ask. Comrade up and comrade, you show young PTD, my doctor, comrade, my shows you are sensitive. So you're going, everyone who's going to watch your show is going to be triggered because you're bringing them back to that same place.
Yeah,
that's why you see, it takes years for someone to come and open up and say, this is what I went through. Because no to why healer and it only to the board no more to mind you don't want to switch it back. And so until professionals classify you to I know you're healed, we can talk about this publicly. Which I talking about this thing publicly, the reason why going back to the question that and I invaded here. Until it's a podcast, people are watching. People are going to comment. Positive or negative comments. Those same comments are going to get straight into their eye. They are going to trigger that person back into that same place that we're trying to run away from. So some people might say, no, say what is, I say what is. But we know. Remember these people that we're talking about, they're humans. They are going to be watching this podcast. They are going to be reading all these comments. These comments affect them as well. So that's why I was saying, until it's proven by the doctors, no, it's safer. It's a safe space to be saying A, B, C, or D. I can say. Do you know what you can actually kill someone by just saying things? Like we're talking about marriage. That's why whenever we're talking about marriage, I was everything that we're talking about, I was referring to myself. I don't want to brush everyone the same brush. Probably there's someone in the same situation who is a single parent. Nekuti haadi probably akarepwa. Ini ndikuti vanhu vese masingle parents vese havasi committed, vanhu ivava havasi committed. Go back to your marriage. Marriage ipi yakarepwa? Marriage ipi iyo murume wacho anga ari cycle. So when they listen to this podcast, when they watch it, I'm sending back, mentally disturbing them. They'll go back there. After watching podcast ya ish. How are you going to feel?
Feel bad. Sure.
So in everything that you say, leave room for people who are qualified to do that, to then clarify that. I don't speak as if I know. This is my opinion. That's why I would always say my school of thought. This is my school of thought. This is my thinking. This is what I think. So I'm telling you what I think, what I've experienced, but I'm not making what I think and what I've experienced a yardstick for everyone else to use.
Yeah, and that's wisdom right there. I know we can talk over and over again, but as we close, I want you to look at this camera and read a letter you would write to an 18-year-old Zolile.
An 18-year-old Zolile. Let me think. Where was I 18 years ago when I was 18? Where was I when I was 18? Where was I when I was 18? Okay. So this is the letter that I would write to an 18-year-old Zolile. Dear Zolile Makeleni, I'm proud of a person that you've become, and I'm proud of a person that you're going to become. So everything that you're doing it right. But I wish you'd do it better so that you become a better self in future. The future is what you make it. The future is what you see it. So everything that you need, you have. Don't doubt yourself. Don't listen to negatives to negatives around you, but always surround yourself with people that would want to make you grow. Always surround yourself with people that make you feel inferior, so that you always have a reason to want to prove them right. The moment you feel too comfortable around you, leave that place immediately, because the moment you're so comfortable, it shows you have already overexhausted the place. Yours truly, Zolile, in the future.
Wow.
Meaning I'll never change anything, because it's because of that same place I am where I am today. So I would go through the same things, never regret in life, but learn.
Sure. All right. So before we close, I want to ask you 5 funny questions, then we close up. Okay. So my first question is, if you had to change one thing in Africa, which one would it be?
If I'm to change one thing in Africa, I would change the border lines. There shouldn't be borders in Africa.
Exactly.
Same as Europe. You travel to Europe in H2, so yeah, I'll remove all borders in Africa.
All right. If you could use one emoji for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
None. I will not use any emoji. They don't express me better. I would rather create my own. I'm looking at a keyboard. I'm thinking, which one? None.
What could you create?
A face like Mona Lisa. I wish there was an emoji like Mona Lisa. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Mona Lisa reflects what you are. If you're sad, Mona Lisa is sad. If you're happy, Mona Lisa is happy. If you're grumpy, Mona Lisa is grumpy. So that's a perfect emoji. It reflects your energy of the day.
What is the best and the worst advice you ever received?
The best advice that I ever received was from my pastor. He told me to go back to school when I thought, the worst advice I received, I'm trying to think, what was the worst advice I received? I don't, there are plenty, but I'm trying to. The worst advice I received was to go and become a god. Kunoita
artist
mugorokoza.
mine. Alright.
Nemfesa kuti takamunochera diamond
Put
kwaCheers.
your mic closer.
Nemfesa kuti takamunochera diamond kwaCheers on a stage. That was the worst advice ever. I wish Stanley you knew earlier on. That was not me. Maoko achera.
All right. My next question is, what is what is the most rebellious thing you ever done as a teenager?
The most rebellious thing that I've ever done was to not register for my A levels. Was not to register for my A levels because I felt I wasn't right. So my parents gave me money to go register. I told them I did, and I did not.
All right. My last question was, what would you change if you had to rewrite your story? What would you rewrite? But since you said you're okay with everything,
No, I'm not okay with everything. Do you know the fun part of okay? And I'm a creative. I watch a lot of movies. Sometimes mafungira ndoita anochikisa. If you change something in life, in your time frame of life, it distorts everything. So if I change one thing, I could not be a dad right now. Yet I love my daughter. If I change this thing, I could not be a TV personality right now. Probably maybe mine. So I'll put it back. You get it? So if there's one thing that I'll change, I did it. For me, I would not want to change anything because everything fell in place like a dominoes. I am where I am right now because things were the way they were. So in other words, I'm not happy with where I am, but I'm happy with where I am.
all right. So before we close, maybe as of me, I love books. So if you, what books would you recommend to a creative person that might help someone, whether be it in a creative business as a whole, or books related
I only
to
have
that?
got 3 books that I would recommend people to read that are in creative space. Because if you read them, you understand why they're good. These 3 books. There's a book by John W. Smith, known as Client.
Client, all right.
Client. That was my first book that made me fall in love with literature. There's a book, The Art of War.
Yeah. Yeah. I've read
There's the
that one.
book by Wilbur Smith, known as the Southern Hemisphere. The Southern Hemisphere by Wilbur Smith. And the Southern Hemisphere elephant, the elephant something, Wilbur Smith. Wilbur Smith was a professor in the Rhodesia University, so he writes about wildlife. He writes about wildlife to an extent that you feel twigs, so he writes about gonare Joe Kupfura, a modern Zimbabwean. That's how he understands wildlife. D. Smith writes about law, criminal law. He wrote a book, Client. It was banned states was it No Orchards for Miss Blandish. No Orchards for Miss Blandish was his first book. Rekuti munhu akariverenga maroba vakanoroba bank from inspiration from the book. Vakasungwa, and they used the knowledge from the book to get away with the case. He makes you understand law in a layman view. You're surrounded by things that protects you, but you just don't know. The Constitution is there to guide you. In court, it's all about facts and what you can prove. Sandika kupaya nebanga, and you are the witness. Then the murder weapon is not on scene. I might go scot free. Wakamona chibaya nebanga rikupi. So do you see how smart he makes you think? The Art of War tells you things to do and things not to do. So as a creative, you are not limited. There's wildlife, there's crime, there's law, and there's philosophy of life. Life is complex, but we complicate it. Because the world as it is, nothing has changed, but we have changed it. Wanzwa the irony.
Yeah.
The world has never changed. It has always been this sphere. But we have changed and we have evolved. But the world has never changed.
All right, Mkoma Zolile, thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed this, and I learned so much.
Serious? Can I semester? No, thanks, Shanice. I love being in an environment whereby we can talk conversation that matters, conversation that provoke my intellect, conversation that would. So when someone listens, I'm sick and tired of interviews whereby I'm just talking things to just make people happy. I want to have conversations whereby when someone is watching, you can agree with me. You get it? But I want a conversation to whereby people pay attention and makes sense. Conversation that changes the world. Yeah.
Oh, sure. All right, that was Zolile for you. My name is Ishanis Mchena, but you can simply call me ImeTheFinest. And that's the end of our show. If you are new to this platform, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. But for now, goodbye.